All right. So the first database that we're going to explore is Destiny. So after you've logged in with the login information provided to you, we're going to go ahead and click on Catalog. So initially, it's going to pull up the basic search option here. So if you notice, it has a search bar, and we can either find something by keyword, title, author, subject, or series. But what's going to be most useful to us is going to be either keyword or subject. So when I'm searching keyword, it's going to pull up all titles that have to do with World War II in the record. But if I search subjects, it's going to be all records that have the subject is going to include what we're searching for. And in our case, obviously, that is the United States in World War II. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you first this really important tool here, which is called How Do I. So if you click on the How Do I here, it's going to have all sorts of tips and tricks here. So it's going to give you some more information. So to start searching, you must enter either a complete word or phrase in quotes and click a search button. You can use upper or lower cases. Okay, so it's not case sensitive. You don't have to capitalize World War II as you would in your English class. You can also use wildcards. What's that referring to is if you don't know the complete word or are unsure how to spell it, you can add an asterisk to the end of what you don't know. So it can kind of guide you in that way. You can also use a question mark to find multiple forms of a word. And make sure that you read through this before you begin your search, because it's also talking about punctuation here and that you don't have to include punctuation or capitalization. Another thing we're going to be talking about, which is pretty important, is the Boolean operators. So you can create a search phrase from several distinct words or terms with Boolean operators between them. So these operators include words and, or not to define the relationship. So for example, if you're searching cats and dogs, it's going to give you titles that mention both cats and dogs. If you're searching cats or dogs, it gives you all the titles that mention cats or dogs or both. Now, if you're searching cats not dogs, it gives you only the title about cats that do not mention dogs. So this is just another way to help us narrow our search and find what exactly we're looking for. Another thing to keep in mind is if you misspell a word or Destiny cannot find the word, it's going to ask you, did you mean? And if the word's correct, then you can select it. If not, you can select refine your search and try again. So that helps us out as well. Now, as we were kind of discussing, you can search by keyword, which returns a list of items at the word almost anywhere in the record. So that is probably going to be a bit more broad versus searching for subject. Because if you want to find an item about a certain subject, topic, person, or all of the above, that's going to be right there in the subject. So you want to make sure that you use the plural form, or if your search has one instead of singular. So some examples here, a treasury of Western folklore. And notice too how the punctuation doesn't matter here. We don't have to capitalize this. So this just gives you a whole bunch of information that's going to be really beneficial to you as you start conducting your search. There are also stop words. These words are so common that searching them is not productive. So words like a, an, the, such, there, that's going to pull up a whole bunch of stuff. So you can leave them out of your search and it will find what you're looking for. So like I said, make sure, guys, that you are reading through this if you have any questions. This is giving you some excellent information on how to use the search engine here in the database. So I'm going to go ahead and conduct a basic search for you right now. We're obviously talking about World War II. So I'm going to type in World War II. And notice, guys, I didn't have to do my punctuation here. And I'm going to go ahead and search that by subject. Notice too, guys, you can also narrow it down on the material type. If you're looking for a video, a sound recording, or a book, which is probably going to be the most efficient for us. And what this is pulling are materials that we have here in the library. So nothing came up, as we noticed, which means the way that I was submitting it, oops, sometimes that happens, nothing came up. But it's searching now subjects close to World War II, which is what I meant. So it's giving us this option here under subjects, and this is all about World War II, breaking it even down into specific categories. Notice too, guys, there's an arrow. So if you select the arrow, it's going to take us to even more possible subjects that we can search as well. So say, for instance, we're talking about, obviously not Canada, but look, so we're looking at the United States in World War II. So that meets what I'm trying to search for. So I'm going to click on this. But actually, as you notice, guys, this is talking about World War I. So we might need to go back and let's select World War II here. Okay. So from here, it's going to give us those dates look a little more correct. So we can kind of browse through, see if we can find what we're looking for, right? Which is the United States in World War II. So once I get there, aha, it's pulling up 9 sources here. So if you notice, we have the little symbol underneath. This is telling us that it's a book. Okay, and these are books that we have in the library available, one of one. If you click on a book that seems interesting to you, let's see, some of these are fiction. Okay, but this one is not. So we'd click on it here. It's going to give us similar titles, pull up more categories that we searched for, giving us additional information about the book. And from here too, it examines the roles of women in the United States on the front during World War II. So if we like that, we can add it to our list. We can, and then find it in the library because we noted that it was available. Okay, so from here, I'm going to show you guys, going back to catalog, how to search kind of through the power search. Now, same thing, it gives us a how do I option. We're able to get more specific information about the power search. And the power search is really aimed to help us narrow down what exactly it is we're looking for if we're giving too many options when it comes to the basic search. So as I'll show you guys, there are a lot of options here. You can use all these words. There's a drop-down box that is going to include every single word that you typed in to search with any of these words. So if I said the United States in World War II, it may pull up things just about World War II or just about the United States. And next we have another option which gives us to start with. If you choose this from the drop-down box, Destiny returns only items that belong with the words you entered. We also have this exact phrase if you want it to meet exactly what you're looking for. This is more convenient when you know a specific title. Once again, you can use either case. They're not case sensitive. Same rule with an asterisk here, question mark, as we did with our basic search. Same thing with punctuation. You can leave it out. It ignores punctuation in the search. And there are different ways to limit your search here. So you can select a location from the drop-down box or select district media collection. Select a material type, publication year if you want something more recent. Call number is not necessarily going to be as important to you as it is your librarian in helping you locate. Reading level kind of gives you an idea of the reading level that the book was written for. And we want to probably stick to a high school reading level. And finally, we also have options for ebooks and audiobooks as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. Okay, you'll also notice a little different. This has an option to include online resources. So that could be beneficial to us if we don't have it physically in the library and you want to access that online. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll use keyword this time, and let's see what happens. I'm going to type in once again, World War II. Okay, And all these words, any of these words, this exact phrase, I'm going to say any of these words just to kind of show you how that would look. You'll also notice I have other areas too where I'm able to put in different keywords that may help my search here. Also, location, it's pulling from the high schools. Material type, once again, here's where I can narrow down the material type I'd want. Publication year, like I said, call number, reading level, things like that. So I'm just going to search World War II, any of these words, and I'm adding an and. Okay, so see how that came up a little bit more quickly than the other one where we had to kind of go a roundabout way. So it searched for world or war or two. Okay, so that could throw us off a little bit. But if you notice, it's pulling some pretty great resources here. Key figures of World War II up close, all sorts of different resources. So like before, it's showing you what's available. It's showing you the title, the publisher, the reading levels, things like that. But if something catches your eye, this one just says World War II. I'm going to click on it. Once again, guys, it gives me the information. It presents the history of the United States participation in World War II, including the role of women and African Americans, and also Japanese Americans. So if I was specifically doing my research maybe about the role of women and African Americans, this could be a good thing to read. Once again, guys, similar titles, things that are tagged. This one has the subject of African Americans, and additional information is kind of tell us what we're looking for. So even from here, I can further explore. Remember, we talked about how it's the United States. I can click on that, and it'll give me a more precise World War, and it gives us the dates of the Second World War, the United States specifically, and that'll pull this up. So, once again, when in doubt, this how do I question mark here is going to be really helpful to you. It's going to be your friend. It's telling you how to conduct the basic search or the power search, which we took a look at. It's going to give you kind of tips and tricks when searching for title, author, subject in a series. How do I? And this is very straightforward. So remember, the benefits here of using Destiny are these are all resources that we have in the library available to you. You can be as specific as you like to in your search. We have a lot of options here. But remember, checking out the how do I, and also if you have any questions, of course, your teacher and I are here and happy to help you. Now, the next browser we're going to take a look at, the database, is the EBSCO host. And that's a little bit different. It functions a little differently, but that's what we're going to be going to next.